And while this dreadful day and its aftermath unfolded, memories would not all be bad. There are memories which will last a lifetime. For this is what they saved, a life. To begin with, an estimated 36,000 units of blood were donated to this cause. $1.4 billion was given by the American people to help the people of New York. Stories begin to be compiled of those who gave all they had to save those they did not know. Pictures would start to be painted in oil on canvas that would ever hang in the halls of our minds. These paintings would show the goodness of humanity, not the abject hatred displayed in the terrorism. These paintings would be created in minutes, even seconds, after the great and terrible plot was brought upon us. These paintings would display a love where a man lays down his life for his brother or sister. A wife would give up the right to her husband, and a child would do the same for a mother or father. Mothers and fathers would talk about the bravery of a son and daughter in the midst of turmoil, chaos, and tragedy. Thousands would give themselves to the armed services, yearning to supply the people of this great country with the peace and safety they sought after such a tragic event. Millions more would not cower in the face of terrorism. No, they would give thousands of hours of service to overcome the effects of evil. We learned to focus our resolve in a metered and compassionate way. We struggled to retain the dignity of the United States of America in the midst of unprecedented pain. These last 8 years have taught us a lot about making a memory. To only gaze upon the destruction and loss without ever seeing what it brought to us would be short-sighted. For we have learned much about ourselves and those around us. Indeed, how the rest of the world poured out condolences and love showed deep down how much we mean to them. For you see, they no longer saw a country, they saw a people. And we saw their grief. And somehow it comforted us in the time of our trial. In fact, our perceived adversary in the world at that time, Russia, did more than any other country. This, according to the renowned Russian studies scholar Stephen Cohen. And again, according to Man Leverett, a Middle East expert who was a career U.S. Foreign Service officer, even Iran gave us the passports of over 300 al-Qaeda members involved in the attacks on the World Trade Center. A relationship we can now only hope will return to those cooperative days of 9/11. How short are our memories. Today, we live with the legacy of 9/11. We live with the paintings which call us to follow the examples of those who demonstrated the utmost for those caught in the snare of a tragedy. Today, these pictures are still made every week here in Newmarket. A kindness shown to a neighbor in delivery of a meal, the giving of blood to the Red Cross, volunteering to be there in the life of a child whose mom and dad are missing, a phone call or a hug for a friend who just received the distressing news that this life sometimes brings. In this house tonight are those whose very fortunes can be changed with the sound of a tone or a call from dispatch. The men and women of Newmarket who have decided to protect and defend this town with their very lives are the spirit of 9/11. Our thoughts and prayers must also be with those who love them and let them go into harm's way to serve us in this community. The husbands, the wives, the sons, the daughters, the mothers, the fathers, who stand to lose it all that they have in order that you and I might be safe tonight. Every time that shift starts, every time that tone goes out, the spirit of 9/11 finds its meaning. Tonight, some of you in this house have a loved one serving this great country in a land far away. we thank you. And we want you to know that they to know that we who call this place home and this firehouse work shoulder to shoulder with them, and we support them. Tonight, I go back to that question. How long does it take to make a memory? 8 years ago, it took 102 minutes to create the beginning of a gallery. A gallery which will serve as a reminder to the goodness of man, even in the face of great evil and despair. The paintings at the end of the gallery will not be the same as the ones at the beginning. Why? Because the destiny of our decisions has overcome the evil perpetrated upon us. And when others view this gallery of the pictures we have painted in this town, will they be able to see the goodness of one man for another? Will they see a life poured out for those in need? I believe they can, and they will. I know because I see it in our community. I see it in our police officers and our firefighters and our EMS personnel. I see it in all of us in this town. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Ow, 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 ow.
That concludes our service for this evening. I'd like to thank you all for coming. And we'll see you next year.
Please, Joe.